Presentation is not about inks, but it's about a tool that we developed to help you to reduce your press downtime and help you with some of these challenges that we see that converters have. So it's a service tool that we've developed for enhancing color matching, or speeding up color matching, I would call it. And this is a very busy slide, I know, but we've spent some time doing questions with I think around 40 different converters around Europe some years ago, and it started with how can we help productivity? What are the main problems with ink related? Is it curing, or is it, and a little bit surprised, color matching came up. And it's something that's been around. There's been different tools and ways to handle this, but that it was actually out of this survey that we did 2 years ago, that the magnitude that this is the #1 reason that they say that presses are standing still. We also saw, I mean, goes back to, you have a wide variety of how many color matches do you do per day. And in honesty, I think many of them didn't really know. But when we started to ask, we found out on average, you mix a lot of colors, but the biggest problem is new colors, something that you never matched before. Repeat jobs is fine. Once you've done your formula, you find it and you can repeat it. But every day you get a new shade, or I think different converters, they say, what is the rule? Two-thirds of their jobs are repeat, and 1/3 is totally new every week. So it's 30% renewed jobs every week. So that means in reality, it's on average in this very, very small number of colors. But on average, it's 3.5, but say 3.5 new shade per day that they need to match. And again, talking to them, on average, they'd say 2.5 hours per day they lose. Some people say that's ridiculous. We can do it much faster. Some say, but even if you say you start analyzing this, it's quite. Even if you save half an hour per match, it adds up. So we sort of went through how can we help, and then we also know from, say, you could say outside in, the color, what do you call it, color targets, or color sensitivity from end users are getting more and more tight. What used to be okay is no longer okay. So there is a tendency that they will expect higher, say, tighter tolerances for color. So what we, sort of long story, but what we developed as a tool to that will help clients to say, no matter what color reference you have, say if it's a Pantone reference, or if it's a color swatch, say printed sample from your booklet, or if it's a reference in Pantone Live, or if it's LB values or 6. So there are all kinds of different ways that brand owners communicate color. This one will translate all of those into a formula that will match first time right on press. So it's kind of a software tool that we developed that stores all these formulas, and we have a way to help calibrate, correlate the press settings each customer have, so we can predict, no matter what analog substrate, that you get it right the first time. So it's kind of a practical tool, but say quite advanced in the back to help, say, take out all of these hurdles with color matching. And some of these, I mean, these are some of the values that we've seen with, let's say, we had the survey 2 years ago, we had a prototype out running, I think, a full year ago, and then more and more sort of fine-tuning on it. And it's obviously an evolving tool. We're working now on some further upgrades on this software. But basically, there are some hard facts that we've seen on the payback, or the, you could say, that you can, say, help just by reducing the amount of time you spend. First of all, not to spend it on press, to just say make sure that you have everything right before you print, and sort of you run your high productivity and accurate job directly when you print. Then the subtle things, I mean, we measure this in press downtime or waste material. So every time you start and stop the press, you waste but there is obviously the additional tools of or additional savings with not have to throw away waste or substrate. The VIVO color solution, as we call it, it actually consists of 2 or 3 elements. One is what we call color cloud, which is a data warehouse storage, where we have 50,000 formulas per day, and it's today, and it's growing daily. Basically, we matched all the Pantone book into all the different ink series, ideally, but eventually we'll do all our different ink series. At the moment, we have our top 5 ink series on a range of substrate that we know are predominantly used in label printing, label packaging. So basically, we pre-matched it all, put it into this warehouse, and you have a very easy, accurate search tool that you can find the formula, and then, as I say, correlate back to each press. And if that's still not possible, you don't find it in that, with a spectral scanner, you could submit your color target digitally to through a web portal, and then we have which you say is the cornerstone of the whole VIVO color solution. It's the color center, global color center that we have in Poland, where we have X amount of people working 24/7 doing all these color matches, either for the say data warehouse, where we do matches for future use with new ink series or additional ink series, or say if it's a customized that someone has a request and I need to have this, I need this red, send it, and then they do it for you. How does it work? Yeah, it's a web tool, 24/7. It has all the different functionalities. Basically, we only now work with digital color targets. So the story here, the samples here, I say just different. Say we know that Pantone books are guides at best. But they're also a tool that have a big variation in over time, and you can have all your different problem areas there. This is what we say, write the first time and color targets. And this is a practical example of just 3 Pantone references. So if you just take the book, Pantone book formula, you mix it in UV Flexo, which I know is not what you have in a Pantone book because that's offset printed, you get the delta E of anything between 3 to 11. Then we have what we say is different softwares that have been around for some time, where you can do a theoretical match. You can get 20 different formulas out of this software, and you print them, and then you get closer, but it's still, let's say, when we do the, what's the word, engineering, we take, say, the best elements of different, part you can do, and we do that offline for you, and then you get, say, the match that are much closer to or below delta E of 1. And just to illustrate one here, I think it doesn't come across. I think I know that some people say that, well, if I take the Pantone book, it's good enough for me. Yes, could be. So here are some numbers that we've seen, and I know this is not, you can say, accurate by any means, but it's an assumption, and this is based on the assumption that you save, you have 3.5 match per day, you save half an hour per match. Then, depending on how you value your press time, how much is that? You can get these type of savings, or as we say, hard facts are the hour saving that we've seen with those assumptions that we've measured. And I know that it's yeah, you could say, depending on what type of shade, it could be quicker or longer, but I think these are the time savings we've recorded. And then on top of that, depending on if you print it on press, substrate, yes, cost of a substrate could also vary from, in one case it's a very expensive one, and then the low cost. But I think it's not intending to say that this is but it's an example of where there's money to be saved through something simple as speeding up your code matching. We have had a few customers that have been around, and these are customer testimonials. I think we have one in the room. Some very famous people that's been around and tested this, and this is the quotation from Mr. Orski here. So very proud that it's a tool that we know works, and it's also that it's validated in real life testing. So very good that this is. Yes, it's not what do you call it, plug and play. There are some steps that we need to work with you as a partnership to get everything set up. I said calibration or analog audit or what you call it, but working together with this, looks maybe a lot. It's very quick, right?
It's easy.